I'm really excited to share this strategy that I actually developed with my son. He's 14 now. We did it probably when he was about 12. So I may have shared, but he struggles with some anxiety and worries. And we were talking. We were on the way to school one day. He was riding in the car with me, and we were just sort of chatting. And he knows that I really like words. I'm a word dork, right? And he had recognized that I often write the word wonderful as two words, wonderful. And I don't know, I had done that on his lunch note or something, and he noticed that, and he was like, because he knows everything, he was like, Papa, that's not the way to do it. That's not right. And we kind of had a laugh at that. And I said to him, well, actually, you're right. It's not the right way to write wonderful, but as an idea, what would it be like to be full of wonder? Isn't that, like the idea of being wonderful? And he got to thinking. I know this because he got silent, and he's usually not that quiet in the car ride. So he got silent, and he was like, well, what would it be like to be full of wonder? And I said, I don't know, what's wonder mean? And we came up with two real important definitions of wonder, which is, the first is, to wonder is to be curious. It's to be inquisitive and to be, want to know. And then the second is idea of wonder is awe, to be inspired, to be awestruck, right? To be full of wonder is to be, amazed. Think about for a moment a time when that's happened for you. Is when have you been full of wonder, either in curiosity and inquisitiveness, or in terms of just like full awe? And I asked him to think of that, and he gave a few examples, and then he paused. We hadn't really been talking about his worries or any of that, but he paused and he looked at me and he said, it's really probably pretty hard to be worried when you're full of wonder. And I said, yeah, that's pretty, that's pretty deep, dude. Like, yeah. And I said, actually, it's probably pretty difficult to be too upset in any direction if you're full of wonder. And he said, the obvious next question is, well, how do you get full of wonder? And we spent the rest of the ride. It's a long commute to school, and we spent the rest of the ride really talking about it. And we came up with the 3 steps of becoming full of wonder, and that's what I want to share with you today. After we came up with it, we've practiced it quite a bit. We tested it out. I shared it with a number of friends and clients. There's actually a ski team here in Vermont that uses it sometimes, so it's kind of cool. And the best part is, it's efficient. It takes less than 3 minutes. So the 3 steps to become full of wonder are presence, curiosity, and gratitude. Now, those are big concepts, but we're going to break it down real simple. If you are starting to feel your imp getting in the way, and it's not been tamed yet, it's not been trained yet, and it's still just becoming an obstacle to you on your path, you can take a moment to become full of wonder and make better choices. So the first is presence. How do you get present? You stop, right? Stop for a minute, less than a minute, and just go through your 5 senses, okay? Spend less than a minute with, what are you hearing right this second? Smelling, tasting, seeing, feeling, what's in your hand, what's your bum feel like in your seat, what are you feeling or sensing in any way? You can go through all 5 senses in less than a minute, and all that does is get you present. Now, it doesn't necessarily last, but with practice, right? So after you're present, the next step would be curiosity. How do we engender curiosity? And there's all sorts of neurological, neuropsychological studies and research that talks about, like, curiosity is something that engages our creative mind. And when we engage our creative mind, we look at the world a little differently. So what out of those 5 senses, you just, explored your own sense of being in the world. You just got present. So what from those 5 senses can you engender a little curiosity about? So, if you're smelling something or hearing something, take less than a minute to just be curious. Like, what could that be? Or, I wonder what's going on, or any number of things, but just less than a minute to force yourself to be curious about something you've just experienced. And now you've engaged your creative mind and you've been able to get present, get curious. And then the last one is gratitude. And this one's interesting. I often feel like this one, people tell me, is one of the more difficult ones because, again, it's such a mundane experience. What are you present to right now? It might not be very much, right? Right now, I'm hearing the fan from our wood stove. I'll use that one as an example. And I'm curious. I'm curious right now. I haven't fed the stove in a while because it's a warm day. So I'm curious how long before the stove cools off enough that the fan will go off. I'm just curious about it. And gratitude. Well, the fan gets a lot of, it gets maligned in our house a lot because it's loud. And, my wife doesn't like it. It's like having a constant sound machine all the time. But that being said, I feel really grateful because last winter when our furnace died, all we had was the wood stove to get us through the winter in Vermont. And so I'm really quite grateful for that fan. So we're present, we're curious, and we're grateful. Less than 3 minutes. And this practice, if done regularly, begins to build those muscles. It begins to build the pathways, right? That will both create and strengthen your present moment engagement and your curiosity and your gratitude. So this quick 3-minute mindfulness exercise is something that you can build 3 skills in less than 3 minutes. And if you're in the middle of having to do your daily action or having to think about needing to do your daily action, this is something that can get you back on track. It can be something that encourages you to pull your values compass out and make a better choice. It can just stop things in the midst of all of the sort of timely, rushing, chaotic, harried, stuff that goes on in all of our lives. Take a moment. Do your wonders, is what I say. So I'd ask you to practice it. Try it this week. Try it, daily for a week. Less than 3 minutes. And let me know how it goes. All right.